If you've ever felt completely invisible in a crowded world, this story is for you. And before we begin, if stories that touch your heart matter to you, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay with us till the end. One small action from you helps these stories reach people who need them most. The park was louder than usual. Children laughed as they chased pigeons across the cracked stone paths. A street vendor rang a small bell, selling roasted corn near the gate. Joggers passed by with headphones on, eyes fixed ahead, lives in motion. Yet on a weathered wooden bench beneath an old banyan tree, one man sat utterly still, like the world had learned how to move without him. His name was Adrian Cole. Most people knew that name from headlines: CEO, billionaire, visionary. The man who built a global empire before 40. But no one in the park recognized him now, not without the tailored suit, not without the boardroom lights. Today, he wore a plain gray sweater, dark jeans, and a face that looked older than his years. Adrian stared at the ground, his hands clasped together tightly, knuckles pale. His shoulders were hunched, as if he were carrying something heavy, something no one else could see. A tear slipped down his cheek. He didn't wipe it away. That was when a small voice broke through the noise of the park. "Hey, mister, are you okay?" Adrian looked up, startled. Standing in front of him was a little boy, no older than 6. He had messy black hair, scuffed sneakers, and a superhero backpack that looked too big for his small shoulders. His eyes were wide, not with fear but with concern. Adrian opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. The boy tilted his head, studying him carefully, the way children do when they sense something adults try to hide. "You're crying," the boy said simply. "Grown-ups don't usually cry in parks." Adrian gave a weak smile. "I guess. Sometimes they do." The boy thought about this for a moment. Then he climbed onto the bench beside Adrian without asking, his legs dangling above the ground. "My name's Leo," he said. "What's yours?" "Adrian," he replied quietly. Leo nodded. "Okay, Adrian, why are you sad?" That question, so small, so innocent, hit harder than any boardroom confrontation ever had. How could he explain decades of pressure, loss, and loneliness to a child who still believed scraped knees were the worst pain in the world? "I just had a hard day," Adrian said. Leo frowned. "My mom says hard days are easier when you don't sit alone." Adrian looked around. "Your mom is here?" Leo nodded and pointed toward a nearby swing set. A woman stood there, gently pushing a toddler back and forth. She looked tired but warm, the kind of tired that comes from caring too much and sleeping too little. Leo leaned closer to Adrian and lowered his voice like he was sharing a secret. "Don't cry, mister," he said. "You can borrow my mom." Adrian froze. "Borrow your mom?" "Yeah," Leo said matter-of-factly. "She's really good at making people feel better. She listens. And she always has snacks." For the first time that day, a real laugh escaped Adrian's chest. Soft, surprised, almost forgotten. "I don't think that's how it works," he said. Leo shrugged. "It works for me." The boy hopped off the bench and ran toward the swings. A moment later, the woman looked over, confused, as Leo waved her down excitedly. Adrian considered leaving. This was ridiculous. He was a grown man with responsibilities that affected thousands of lives. He shouldn't be sitting in a park being comforted by a stranger's child. And yet, he stayed. The woman approached, holding the toddler on her hip. Up close, Adrian noticed the faint dark circles under her eyes, the kindness etched into her expression. "I'm sorry," she said. "My son said you were crying." Adrian felt embarrassed. "I didn't mean to cause trouble," she smiled gently. "Crying isn't trouble. I'm Maya. Adrian." Leo stood proudly between them. "See, I told you she'd come." Maya sat on the other end of the bench. For a moment, none of them spoke. The park noise filled the silence. Then Maya said, "Do you want to talk about it?" Adrian hesitated. No one had asked him that in years. Not without an agenda, not without a timer, not without conditions. "I don't even know where to start," he admitted. "That's okay," she said. "Start anywhere." And so he did. He spoke about the company he built from nothing, about the nights he slept in his office, about missing birthdays, funerals, and moments that never came back. He talked about the divorce that happened quietly, off camera, about the penthouse that felt like a hotel room, about the board meeting that morning where he realized no one cared how tired he was, as long as profits went up. "I'm surrounded by people all day," Adrian said, his voice breaking, "but I've never felt so alone." Maya listened. She didn't interrupt. She didn't offer solutions. She just listened. Leo climbed onto the bench again and rested his head against Adrian's arm. "My dad left," Leo said suddenly. Maya stiffened slightly but said nothing. "He said he had to work far away," Leo continued, "but Mom says he just didn't know how to stay." Adrian swallowed hard. "I think some people forget how," he said softly. Maya nodded. "Staying is a skill, one a lot of adults never learn." The toddler on her lap reached out and grabbed Adrian's finger, smiling. Something cracked open inside him. They stayed like that for a long time, three strangers connected by a moment that felt bigger than coincidence. When the sun began to dip lower, Maya stood up. "We should head home." Leo looked at Adrian. "Are you gonna be okay now?" Adrian nodded. "I think so." "Thank you." Leo smiled. "If you're sad again, you can come back. Parks are good for that." As they walked away, Adrian felt something he hadn't felt in years, hope, but life doesn't change in a single afternoon. The next day, Adrian was back in his office. The glass walls, the city below, the same weight on his chest. Yet something was different. He canceled a non-essential meeting, then another. On impulse, he drove back to the park during lunch. They were there again. Leo spotted him first and ran over like they were old friends. "You came back," he shouted. Adrian smiled. "I said parks are good for sadness, right?" Maya laughed. "Leo hasn't stopped talking about you that day." Turned into many days, Adrian learned that Maya worked 2 jobs, that she'd once dreamed of becoming a teacher. That life hadn't gone the way she planned, but she still showed up every day with love. Maya learned that Adrian had no family nearby, that success had cost him more than money, that he didn't know how to rest. Leo learned that adults could be broken and still be kind. Weeks passed, then months. One afternoon, Adrian brought sandwiches. Another day, Leo showed him how to feed pigeons properly. Maya scolded them both for encouraging bad habits. Slowly, without realizing it, Adrian began to belong somewhere. Then came the challenge. Maya's landlord raised the rent. She couldn't afford it. She tried to hide the stress, but Adrian noticed. "I might have to move," she admitted one evening. Far away. The thought of losing them felt unbearable. Adrian offered to help, but Maya refused. "I don't want charity," she said. Adrian nodded. "Then let me offer opportunity." He told her about a community education program his foundation had been planning but never truly prioritized. He asked her to help design it, to lead it. "You believe in people," he said. "That's the qualification." Maya hesitated. Then she accepted. The program launched 6 months later. It changed lives, including Adrian's. He stepped down as CEO the following year, not out of failure but choice. He stayed on as an advisor. He moved to a smaller place. He started showing up at Leo's school events, at community dinners, at life. Years later, Adrian sat on the same park bench. His hair was grayer now, his smile easier. Leo, now a teenager, sat beside him. "You were crying that day," Leo said thoughtfully. "I'm glad you didn't leave." Adrian looked at the sky. "Me too," Maya called out to them from across the park. Leo grinned. "Hey, remember when I said you could borrow my mom?" Adrian chuckled. "Best loan I ever took. Sometimes the help we need doesn't come in suits or speeches. Sometimes it comes from a child with a backpack too big for his shoulders and a heart big enough to save a stranger." If this story moved you, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might be sitting alone on their own bench today. Because no one should cry alone.